This is California. While this state is known for its glitz and glamour, it is also home to some of the highest real estate prices, highest taxes, highest homelessness population, and highest number of business regulations.
In many parts of the state, you've got tent cities, crime is out of control, schools at the bottom percentile.
There are people who are dying on our streets. The estimate is that 1,000 people will die on the streets of Los Angeles.
All of this, combined with an extremely high cost of living, is forcing residents and businesses to leave the state at record numbers.
I'll tell you, Californians, when they move to Texas, they're shocked. Their standard of living goes up 40 to 50% overnight.
Is Texas the new California?
The rivalry between Texas and California.
The largest number of people relocating to Texas are coming from California.
And many of us are leaving not only California, but other liberal states for a better lifestyle for our children.
Failed liberal policies are just simply encouraging the situation.
People just saying we can't put up with this anymore, and you just can't live like this.
California and Texas both have large amounts of land, plenty of natural resources, minority-majority populations, and are home to some of the country's biggest corporations. These similarities, matched with their glaring policy differences, makes them perfect for comparison. Over half of Californians are thinking of leaving the state, and the biggest reason why is the sky-high cost of living.
The cost of living in California is somewhere between 40 and 50% higher than it is in Texas.
Houston, you can get a 3-bedroom house for a couple $100,000 with a backyard. Your kids can play. You can throw a ball with your kids in the backyard. You can have a good school. Try doing that in California.
The state and local governments are doing things to restrict the development of new housing units in the free market. And they do this through restrictions on building. They do this through things like rent control, which disincentivizes the creation of new rental units. And a set of disastrous policies have contributed to keeping housing costs vastly growing.
The cost of energy is higher, the cost of gasoline and transportation. Everything costs more in California.
Extensive environmental regulations have also sharply raised the energy costs in California, where they are 50% higher than the national average. Over 1 million Californians live in what is officially defined as energy poverty.
It's very hard on a middle-class income to live in this state. Many of them who were born and raised in this state are realizing that it's become unaffordable, and that's heartbreaking.
The left spends a lot of time and energy talking about income inequality and ways to fix it, but ironically, California, the great progressive experiment, ranks 4th in the list of states with the highest level of income inequality and 2nd in the nation for the fastest growing income inequality. According to the Census Bureau's supplemental poverty measure, California has the highest poverty rate in the country, with 1 in 5 Californians living below the poverty line.
California has always had the nation's highest poverty rate, and proportionately, it's about 30% higher than it is in Texas.
And a third of the people on assistance in the nation are in California.
So how is California handling the growing poverty rate in their state? California spends more than Texas, Arizona, South Dakota, North Dakota, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, Oregon, Idaho, Hawaii, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, New Mexico, and Montana on welfare annually combined. State and local governments have spent a gargantuan amount of money, oftentimes wastefully overlapping each other. Yet the incredible spending has not alleviated one of California's most vexing problems. In fact, it seems to have made it worse. Homelessness has taken over California, with the problem developing into a state of emergency. And although homelessness is dropping nationwide, California, with 12% of the population, houses 49% of the nation's homeless.
One of the issues that I face living here is the fear of the homeless epidemic, because a lot of these homeless individuals, they're drug addicts, some are sex offenders, and that's become a huge problem.
There are people defecating on the street right in front of my apartment. We have syringes there. I mean, we have a lot of issues in California that seem to be blinded to, the policies that come out of here, and I don't think the rest of the nation really understands what's happening in California.
And we see this not only here, not only in Skid Row, but from San Diego all the way on up to Sacramento, San Francisco. Every city is being impacted by this.
If California were a country, it would have the 5th largest GDP in the world. California's economic engine is driven by its overshared size of technology giants and small to mid-sized businesses. Because of Californians' hard work and ingenuity, they've been able to create this economic behemoth. Yet this state is trying to slay this golden goose with suffocating business regulations. Over the last 10 years, over 15,000 businesses have fled the state, and the pace is accelerating. While Apple, Google, Facebook, and the other tech giants get talked about the most, it is California's small businesses that are the lifeblood of the state's economy. Companies with less than 100 employees make up 98% of all businesses in the state and employ nearly 40% of its workforce. These businesses are what make California the economic powerhouse that it is.
I haven't made a profit in 5 years, and some of the servers here can make between $40,000 and $50,000 a year because I have to pay them minimum wage and they get tips and I end up with nothing. And that's for a part-time job. It's what is called in the business first phase economics, right? Because it's an emotional choice to feel good about giving the employee more money, never looking at the second phase and what it does to business and how it causes this domino effect of, okay, I have to now let somebody go, right? I have to raise my prices in the restaurant. It's a lose-lose for everybody.
While California embodies the progressive wing of U.S. politics and government's central roles in people's lives, Texas represents a deeply contrasting political ideology and has followed a very different path. The state's focus on individual liberty and personal responsibility stems from its frontier identity and its decade of self-determination as the Republic of Texas. It has voted Republican in every presidential election over the past 36 years. It is difficult to think of a resonant issue being debated today that doesn't find Texas and California on opposite sides of the debate.
Texas is all about freedom. That's really the spirit of Texas. Texas is a state where anybody can start with nothing and achieve anything.
If you look at the U.S. Census Bureau's interstate migration data, you'll see that the greatest number of people leaving California go to Texas.
There are lots and lots of jobs. The economy is growing. There's prosperity. Wages are going up. Low taxes, low regulations, free enterprise. In Texas, we like jobs. I said all of us, even the Democrats like jobs. They don't know how to get them, but they like them.
In direct contrast to California, one of the great draws into Texas is the affordable cost of living.
And you see that, for example, with a rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in San Francisco versus Dallas. It's more than 3 times more expensive in San Francisco.
California, a gallon of gas is nearly $4 a gallon. Texas, a gallon of gas is just over $2 a gallon. You want to talk about making a difference. Now listen, if you're a tech billionaire, you don't care about $4 a gallon gas. Your SUV goes to your private jet and you fill it up and it's all funny money to you. But how about to a school teacher?
People who move to Texas are shocked at their dramatic increase in buying power when you couple low cost of living with Texans keeping more of their take-home pay.
California has the highest taxes, 13.3%, top marginal tax rate in California, 13.3%. You know what it is in Texas? 0.
Not only are individuals coming to Texas, but so are businesses, and they're coming by the thousands. We met with one of those small business owners who came to Texas, fleeing California's oppressive anti-business environment, bringing with him jobs, capital, and an auto restoration business that over the course of its life grew tenfold in size. Living in California for 35 years with your business, did you see radical changes happening in that state that made it harder for you to keep your business open?
There were tremendous changes, particularly with the regulating body called the Bureau of Auto Repair. That agency, I think, got power hungry to the point where individuals would throw businesses like mine under the bus to try to please customer complaints, no matter how small they were, to further their own careers.
Is there a Bureau of Auto Repair in Texas?
No Bureau of Auto Repair in Texas.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Do you feel like it's easier to live out your dream here in Texas than it is in California?
Oh, it's not even close. Yeah, absolutely. And Texas is a great economy, and it's so easy to be in business. Way more freer here in regards to less restrictions, red tape. So I was in the auto repair business in California. It required city fees. It required state fees, environmental fees. You know, you had all that overhead to start with on your shoulders, and then all those regulating bodies to please. Whereas here, you could just immediately open up.
When you think of Texas industry, you think of oil and beef. But the reality is, Texas has as many Fortune 500 companies based there as California, and has an incredibly robust high-tech and startup sector.
Texas innovates, and when it comes to high-tech, you look at Austin, for example, where high-tech companies are moving in like crazy, venture capital companies are moving in like crazy, and hopefully you have hundreds or thousands of small businesses being formed to take on the next big business and the next big business, and it's that creative destruction that drives the economy forward, that innovates. That's what creates opportunities. That's where new jobs come from. That's why young people are moving to Texas, because Texas is where the jobs are. Texas is where you can make a future and provide for your family.
As the cost of living is increasing and the quality of life is decreasing, you're seeing a lot of Californians flee to Texas, flee to Florida, flee to Tennessee, flee to Montana and elsewhere. Nobody wants to just hand over their money. Nobody wants to give up so much of that money that they've earned to the government.
I want to be able to sell as much as I can to make the most amount of profit that I can hire more people and open up a second place, right? But sometimes I don't think I would open a second place here. Maybe that would be in a different state.
The divergent paths that these two states have taken are purely a result of the political choices that they have made. The disastrous results of California's progressive ideology stand in stark contrast to the Lone Star State's conservative policies that have led to the Texas miracle.